So with just these credit cards you see in front of you, I was able to book business class on some of the nicest airlines in the world. I was able to book Michelin key 5-star luxury hotels all around the world as well. And so I'm going to be showcasing every business class redemption and 5-star luxury hotels that I have booked over the next 12 months and how I was able to do it completely with my new strategy that had I known earlier, like years ago, I would have saved hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in annual fees, and I would have traveled like this way more often than I have over the past 7 years of being in the points and miles game. And all of this kind of stems on the back of one major philosophy change, which is, as you guys have been seeing, that I've essentially been canceling all of my high annual fee premium cards because I really do think they're not necessarily as worth it as it once was many years ago. And if you just save that 795 on a Sapphire Reserve or 695 on a Platinum card, going up to 895 likely very soon, hell, even a $400 annual fee on the Venture X, I could be earning more and more of those cards that you saw at the beginning that have much lower annual fees, around $95 to even 150, and I can book way more travels with all of the welcome offers and the perks and benefits on those cards versus the small money that I think is the credits that come along with these high annual fee premium credit cards. And so to showcase this, let me show you my next redemption I have coming up in literally just about a month from now. Starting off on the trip that we're going to first, which is Italy, and we were able to book Emirates A380 business class from JFK over to Milan. And this is a one-way ticket in business class, and this airline is highly coveted for one specific reason, that it has an onboard lounge. Now, knock on wood, they don't change the product on me, but hopefully I'm able to experience this. But yes, this is the exact redemption I was able to make for my flight to Milan coming up very soon. It's about $11,000 flight, and I was able to pay, you can see right here, about 87,000 Emirates miles to be able to book one way business class for one person. So you can see right here, JFK to Milan, this exact redemption on the Emirates program on the A380, 87,000 miles to be able to fly that one-way flight. And you can see the taxes and fees are $433 above. And just know that you can get better redemptions that are lower. I think I only paid like $50 to maybe $100 in taxes and fees. And now you might be wondering, Anthony, how did you come up with 87,000 miles to be able to book at least one ticket on this Emirates business class flight? Well, it was actually quite simple. Some of you may know last year I went really crazy getting a lot of Chase Ink business cards. I mean, essentially once per quarter, I was applying for another business card. And so during that time, and actually right now, I was able to get a multiple of the Ink Business Unlimiteds and also multiple of the Ink Business Cashes. And I know that they have tightened up over time and it's a little bit changed, but just know, at least nowadays, it seems not unreasonable to be able to get two of these fairly easily. And you could see the welcome offers on these cards are about 750 or 75,000 Chase Hold reward points. And after you hit the welcome offer, it's about 85,000, maybe 90,000 Chase Hold reward points. Same goes for the Ink Business Cash. Now, I have multiple of these, but if you're only able to get one or two of these over the next 12 months, well, that 85 or 90,000 you would get from just one of these cards would already be enough to book that one business class ticket again on these Emirates A380. Literally just getting the card and hitting the welcome offer. And so I think that's incredibly powerful because now you know that you can essentially get a card that has a $0 annual fee, hit that minimum spend requirement, and get enough for an $11,000 flight. And as you can see right here, Chase actually transfers one-to-one with Emirates. So for every 1,000 Chase points you transfer to Emirates, that's 1,000 Emirates rewards. So what did I do? I took the 85, 90,000 that I got from like one of these Ink Business Unlimiteds, transferred it over to Emirates, and I was able to book one ticket one way on Emirates over to Milan. And I think it's going to be an unforgettable experience. And yes, it is fairly expensive, but I think these are the experiences that I kind of want personally. Some of you guys may want to do some premium and what or economy and what have you, and it can be very cheap if you do an economy. But I want to fly in style and I want to have a really good time. So that's why I decided to pay a little bit more. But it isn't that easy because I could easily just tell you, like, oh, take the points, transfer them over, and then just go book your flight. And in one way, that's fairly standard, but there's issues that come up when you book this particular flight. And throughout this video, I'm going to showcase some of the issues I came through on booking so it can make your life a little bit easier. First and foremost, if you're not using Seatside Arrow, link in the pinned comment below, you're sleeping on it, it's the only way you're able to find a flight like this. My friend Cody Little put me onto it. He was able to actually find this flight for me, and then he turned me on the Seatside Arrow. So it's the only way you can know which date, like October 9th, 10th, 11th, you know this Emirates class exists. Otherwise, you would just be, clicking around random random dates and trying to figure out when it would actually be available. So seats.aero can help you find all these flights that we're going to be talking about today, even hotels. But just know seats.aero exists. But it's also not that easy because when you go to actually transfer your miles from Chase over to Emirates, what everyone ends up doing, because they want to make sure the connection is secure, is they'll try to transfer 1,000 points over to Emirates or any of these airlines as a test transfer to make sure everything is properly secured and it goes and meets my other account. However, what ends up happening with most of these airlines is if you go to then transfer a second amount, like a few minutes later of like the total, which I was like 179,000 points, then that's where you run into issues because the airline thinks this is a somewhat of a fraud detection service. And so what will happen is you'll actually get delayed and your points won't actually hit your account for upwards to like 72 hours. I actually saw somebody waited a full week for their points to kind of hit. So if you go on seats.aero and you see, oh, here's the Emirates, it's the exact dates I want, here's the flight that I want. Okay, let me do a test transfer. And then you send the other amount. Oh man, you're going to miss that flight because that redemption is going to be booked by the time those points hit your account. So I actually don't recommend doing a test transfer, but just triple checking the numbers, the loyalty numbers between your accounts to make sure that's all accurate and then just send your full amount. Now I no longer do test transfers and I haven't had an issue so far. Caveat that you have to do this last second. Like if you know you're going to be booking something a month from now, do your test transfer today and then go book it a month from now. You'll be fine. But if you're doing it on short notice like I did, just know the test transfer kind of ruins things. Now, just know that if this does happen to you, Emirates and a few other airlines itself have something called Hold My Fare, where you literally can call them, whether it's a cash or a points redemption, and they can hold that redemption for you for 72 hours. I'm not even kidding. And I had to do this. So I called up Emirates and said, my points are coming. Can you just hold this redemption for me? And sure enough, 30-minute call, but was able to hold my flight fare for 72 hours. And I think my points literally came at like hour 62 or something like that, hour 60. I was like, oh my goodness. I was so close to being able to lose this flight. So just know if all those things happen and it changes by the airline, not every airline has this, but if you're in this situation, just know that that's a thing. So that was the first redemption that we're going to have coming up very, very soon. We have Emirates A380 business class. Hopefully they let me get drunk on the onboard lounge. Next is ANA business class. So this is for my upcoming trip to Japan. With this, I really wanted to get the room because everybody loves the room. That's like the talk of the town, especially when we have guys like Chase Yokoyama teaching us how to get the room, which shout out to him. He made trying to book the room so easy, it's not even funny. Now, here are a couple of things to know when trying to book ANA business class. One, it's very hard to find, not only on just the room itself, but just business class itself with a cheap enough point redemption to get business class on ANA. And so even though today ANA has opened up award flights one way for business class when you actually have ANA miles, which can only be transferred from American Express points, I only had the large swath of Chase Hold Reward points from like my Ink business cards or my Sapphire Preferred over the years or all my spend. So I've only had a large amount of Chase points over the last year. And so when you actually look, what I ended up doing was since I wanted this flight and I knew that if you looked online, it was about 75,000 points one way business class. And I knew that that was often available on Aeroplan. I ended up opting to taking about 150,000 of my points, transferring it over to Air Canada Aeroplan. And that's what I used to be able to book business class again on ANA. But here's where the kicker kind of is with ANA. One, yes, you can find it fairly easily when you go on seats.aero. There's a few different routes that you kind of want to search when you go into Japan or coming home from Japan. Also, if there are date ranges that you may need and you may not be able to check this constantly over and over again, you can hit alerts right here, hit create alerts. You can set alerts for them to email you or text you if you pay for the service for whatever program, whatever the airport that you're trying to fly out of, or even what specific airlines you're trying to fly in which class, and they'll send you a text when it's available. Another way to be able to book those ANA flights or even the Emirates is to just find the dates that you definitely want to fly and set an alert, and they'll kind of alert you when those are going to be available. It's not going to be a perfect art, and a lot of the times by the time you get the alert, especially for a flight as hard to find as ANA business class, typically by the time you get the alert, they're already taken. And so what I found is if you just search pretty much around 355 days out, so over about a year out, and you just search between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I was able to daily find business class available on ANA. And that's the only way that I found it available and allowed me to book. And I don't want to get you guys lost in the weeds too much, but once again, that's how you find those specific flights. Seats.aero, 75,000. And once again, just another Ink business card for 75,000, 85,000 is already enough to book one of these actual cards. So you didn't need any premium credit cards to get that done. Now, of course, the points from the premium cards are nice, but part of my greater strategy right here, which is just kind of get the cards that you need to get the flight that you want and try to spend the least out of pocket possible for those specific flights. For example, I'm not able to just at this moment, but I also wanted to book Japan Airlines business class coming home from Japan when we actually get home from there. So ANA there, Japan Airlines back. And so once again, let's go on Seats.aero to find this exact flight. And I've outlined this many times, but essentially all it requires is you can see many of them right here, about 60,000 American Airlines miles to book one business class one way ticket on Japan Airlines. And yeah, the product can change depending on the plane, but for the most part, it's fairly easy to find this availability. But again, there's another sweet spot for this. You're not going to find this very, very easily. The only time you're really going to find Japan Airlines in these types of points redemptions is going to be whether you're like a year out or 2 weeks out. You can see right here, I chose about 2 weeks from today. You hit search, filter by business class, and wham bam. And you can see many redemptions right here for Japan Airlines business class from these specific airports. Even if you want to go from America to Japan, same exact thing applies, and way more seats are actually available at this price point. Now, what did I do when I saw that these redemptions were about 60,000 each? Well, of course, I applied for some American Airlines cards because once again, it's a $0 annual fee. I don't have to worry about premium card annual fees. And I got 70,000 AA miles for just one purchase, literally one purchase, which was like raw milk and it was $10. And I was able to get 70,000 American Airlines miles. That's allowing me to book one business class seat on like a $5,000 or $6,000 flight. I mean, to me, that's absolutely amazing. And again, why I'm just canceling all the high annual fee cards because I can get more cards just like this. Now, as a quick PSA, this card is discontinuing as a rumor as of next month. So, September 30th, this card will no longer exist because it's merging with Citi. So, we have no idea what this card is going to turn into. But right now, you could at least get a public welcome offer of 50,000 after your first purchase, $0 annual fee first year. Or you can call in right here where you could actually call and get about 70,000 by calling that number. So, look at Dr. Credit. Shout out to them. Some people in Discord have done that, but just know that's the idea. Also, what else did I do? I actually applied for the personal City AA card because you can earn 80,000 miles after 3,500 spent in the first 4 months. That's another ticket. That's basically two one-way tickets for you and your spouse on Japan Airlines business class. Now, unfortunately, I was denied for this card recently, so I have to see if my wife wants to apply for it. But I was approved for the business version of the AA card, and I guess you see the point now. 65,000 points again is another one of those tickets. And so with just these few credit cards alone, these ones right here, I was able to book business class on those three separate airlines one way, or even some cases it might be round triple C. But for all of those airlines, for maximum annual fees worth about $200. $200 in total annual fees. And I was able to get probably $25,000 worth of flight redemptions actually done. Now, obviously, are you counting $25,000? No. Am I paying cash for those? Absolutely not. But now, again, I'm not in this game for the practical move of what I practically would be able to get done in life. I'm in this game to have outsized experiences for things that I would never be able to do. So, like, I like to throw out that $25,000 number. It means actually nothing really at the grand scheme of things. It's really just more of like a bragging vanity number. It's like, oh, you got 25K in flights. Okay, cool. What does that really mean? But for me, it's just outsized, crazy business class experiences that I would never be able to do anyway. And for me, that's worth $200. $200 in annual fees is worth the experience of $25,000 flights. Not saying it's one to one, but it's worth the experience to me, and that's enough for me. And so I think you kind of see my points so far. So that was basically the main airlines that we have coming up. And I have a couple other flights like to Puerto Rico. It's going to be economy, American Airlines, a few different other flights, not ones that I care to showcase because they're pretty simple. But next, the hotel side of things, you guys know I recently just stayed at a Michelin Key small luxury hotel Hilton booking with the Andronis Minois when I recently went to Greece. And this was an amazing hotel and absolutely an amazing stay. And honestly, the best hotel stay of my entire life. The views are amazing. The food was amazing. The staff was amazing. And so if we look at the actual points price needed for my $800 to $1,000 cash night per night stay, well, it was only about 100,000 Hilton honors points to book every single night. So actually a really good redemption. And you might be wondering, how did I end up getting 100,000 points? Well, I was able to get it in two ways. One, I was able to apply for again another Hilton Surpass card, and this is going to come into play a little bit later. But I was able to earn 130,000 points for me and a free night certificate as well. So 130,000 points and a free night. And not only did I apply for this, but also my wife applied for it. And you'll see why in just a second. So with those 130,000 points, that alone is enough to book a singular night and then some with this particular hotel. And that's what I did. I spent 2 nights there. On top of that, I was actually able to take advantage of vacation just a couple of months ago where right now they're actually offering, spend $200, you'll get 50,000 Hilton Honors points for taking their timeshare presentation. Now, I do not advocate for buying the timeshares. I advocate for taking the Hilton Honors points and then saying no over and over when you're in the timeshare. And I've done many of these, and they're always a lot of fun for me personally. And I recently went to Hilton Head Island, where it was actually a great stay, and I recorded the entire timeshare presentation, and they gave me 75,000 points for my time. And you could earn 100,000 if those offers come around. But again, those 75,000 points was also enough to get me almost a night at this particular hotel. But beyond that, and this is a stay that I recently did, we have some stays coming up in Italy. More specifically, my first hotels, which is in Lake Como, Italy, after we land from that Emirates business class flight. A couple of the stays we have, we're actually going to the Hilton Lake Como first. And this is a fantastic property, very close to the train from Milan, and has stunning, stunning views of Lake Como. This one was actually fairly cheap at only about 90,000 points per night. So again, that timeshare presentation pretty much covered that Hilton Lake Como redemption. That is the first night of our entire stay. And basically this night and the night after is going to be our honeymoon. And so our honeymoon day is going to fall on this hotel, The View in Lugano. It's actually on the Switzerland side. It's Lugano Lake, which you could see here from crazy views. And I booked this exact room that you could see right here. Literally this lake view. It's a suite, and I had to pay about 130,000 points per night. And this hotel regularly runs for about $1,500 cash USD per night. And it comes with a lot of complimentary things like a complimentary electric car or scooter you can take out and about completely for free. It's absolutely amazing. I'm really excited for it. And once again, 130,000 points got me one night in this particular hotel. That's as much as one welcome offer on the Hilton Surpass card that has a $150 annual fee. Or if you get it right now, has a $0 annual fee for the first year. And wham bam, you got yourself a night in a $1,500 hotel. Not everyone wants to go ultra luxury. I just happen to be crazy. I love the ultra luxury side of these games. Obviously, 130,000 points, you could stretch much further. 30K a night, Hampton Inn, 4 nights. I mean, that's pretty amazing. On top of that, I also have the Il Tornabuoni booked when I go to Florence, Italy, a little bit after that Lake Como stay. And this is also an amazing hotel that has recently been upgraded to a Category 8 Hyatt hotel. So that runs from 35K to 45K Hyatt points per night. And I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. And it's probably one of the nicest Hyatt hotels in all of Italy. And so I'm really excited to go there. And again, do I really have to mention it? Chase Ultimate Reward points. You can get a Chase Sapphire Preferred right now for 75,000 points. And that can essentially earn you 2 nights and then some at this hotel that regularly runs for, I mean, it says 268 euros because I had to push out the final points redemption. For the nights that I'm going to be attending there, it's about $800 every single night. For again, a card that, may just have a $95 annual fee. So I think you understand my point with these cards, how you got the points, and then how you book them. And just to kind of rapid fire, a few other stays that we have. We also booked the Palazzo Manfredi's, an SLH hotel. It's 140,000 points per night. I think when I booked it was 130,000 points per night. It's overlooking the Coliseum. I may end up here. I may not end up here. I may actually shorten this trip a little bit. So I don't know if I'm going to end up here, but I do have it booked currently. How did I earn those points? Well, it was just because I got the platinum, the gold, and the green card over the years. I had a stash of Amex points. You could transfer them at 1 to 2 with Hilton Honors. So 1,000 Amex points is 2,000 Hilton Honors. But I got it during a transfer bonus where it's 1 to 2.6. So I transferred like 100,000 American Express points, got a 260,000 Hilton Honors points, and that was enough to book me 2 nights at the Palazzo Manfredi. Again, all of these cards and these point systems that can give you outsized returns on these redemptions. I also have the Hilton Caribe that I also transferred about 100,000 American Express points during that transfer bonus, booked 5 nights with the fifth night free for me and all my good friends who are going to Puerto Rico meet up in San Juan. It's going to be absolutely freaking amazing. I can't wait for it. I also booked the Sawaka, which I've talked about so much as a meme at this point, but this was a hotel that's a ryokan, old school with modern touches, all the way in Kyoto, Japan. Booked 2 nights here, even though it's 130,000 points per night at about 2,000 USD per night. You might be wondering, how did I book that 130 if I already used all these points on the surpasses? Remember, these cards came with free night certificates. So I was able to book 2 free nights with those free night certificates for my wife and I's free nights that we got from our cards. So absolutely amazing redemption here. What about the next hotel that I was able to book a night in? The Park Hyatt Kyoto. This is a hotel that is widely regarded as one of the hardest points redemptions possibly you can find in the entire credit card points and mile space. It's very hard to find award availability, and now they have this points calendar that does make it a little bit easier to figure out when some of these dates would actually be available. But as you can see, many months do not actually have availability to being able to book this hotel completely on points. And this was definitely one of the harder redemptions I was able to do. And of course, yes, I was able to get all the points for this, about 45,000 points per night. Again, just with more of these chase cards and what have you, you can see the theme here. And one recommendation I have for this particular hotel, since it's so hard to get a booking with, is I actually was able to do it with rooms.arrow. So we talked about seats.arrow earlier, which is all flights, but rooms.arrow is all hotels. And essentially, you can search different hotels and whatnot within the programs. But one thing I like to do for specific hotels and ones that it's very hard to find availability is I'll actually make an alert here. I believe to be able to search out that far or be able to have certain alerts, you need to pay the subscription. It's like 10 a month, which you could have them email you or SMS. I did the SMS where they actually texted me where you could just type in like, okay, select the hotel right there, and you could do a date range. So I knew I was going to be there at a particular time. Let's say we'll be there in March. We could do from March 11th all the way to March 31st, standard room availability and the max points per night. Then I'll create an alert, and then bam, it'll text me anytime availability comes up for this specific hotel. So it's highly slept on. One of the most valuable things. Obviously, you have to pay for it. My referral is down in the pinned comment below, but I think it's highly worth it because that's the only way I was able to snag one night. They texted me like 10 a.m. a few months ago, like, oh, we have availability. Got on literally within 2 minutes. I went on and I booked one night for this specific hotel. So I'm really excited for it, but that's how it kind of has to be done. Get your chase points, get them over there, and then use rooms.arrow to set the alerts, I would say personally. And then for the rest of the stays and the access points that I have for my other Hilton Grand Vacations, I'm probably going to book the Conrad over in Tokyo with Hilton Honors points and the rest in Tokyo with my Hyatt points. Hopefully the Ondas if I can find a redemption. And so while I'm not going super hyper in depth on all of these redemptions and all the little nuances to all of them, I think you kind of see my point. If you have the strategy or the mindset that at least I've adopted more recently since doing a couple more redemptions and finding out what I really truly want in this game, which is high luxury, these specific destinations like Japan, Italy, it's ones we went on to do for many years. And it's been too long. I mean, I've been in the points and miles game for 7 years to not like enjoy and do all these crazy things, right? I've been doing everything domestically until recently. So I'm having a lot of fun, and it's not for everybody, but at least for me, if I could save all of the $700 annual fee on the platinum card or 800 on a sapphire reserve or even VentureX 400, dollar annual fee, and I can get, a two surpass cards, that's a $300 annual fee. If I can get two AA cards, that's another 200 for $500 in annual fees. I'm getting almost all of these crazy hotels and flights booked completely out of pocket when also factoring in those $0 annual fee cards like, the Barclays or even the Surpass could be zero first year or the Chasing Business cards or even a 95 Sapphire Preferred. I think you kind of understand where I'm coming from. My general philosophy right now is like I could never book any of these types of redemptions with those high annual fee premium credit cards, less the points that I would earn from them just on the normal credits and benefits that come along with it. I would never be able to get that done. So I've canceled them all, got all these cheaper cards, and I think I'm going to be traveling way more because of it. And if you want to see how I outline this strategy a little bit more in depth, check out this video right here. I go more in depth on this entire strategy of picking the destination first and then let the cards follow suit. And I think that's the way it probably should be. So let me know what you think about that video. I hope to see you there. And thank you guys for being all the way to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. Take care. Let's travel and have fun, baby. All right. Bye.